Welcome to the How It Started podcast. My name is Hiram.
My name is Adonis.
And today's guest isn't just building events, he's building legacy. Dave Burlin is the founder of Vet Talks, a platform designed to spotlight and support veteran entrepreneurs who are out there not just surviving, but serving again through their business.
But this didn't start with a strategy deck or a sponsor. It started with the void, a lack of real platforms for leaders in the veteran space. In this episode, we talk about what it really takes to build something with purpose when the money's not flowing. The mission feels too big, and the pressure to quit is louder than the applause.
Today, we're really gonna go deep on identifying after service, building for community builders, and what happens when your brand becomes bigger than your bandwidth.
This is the story behind Vet Talks, the truth behind building something that actually matters.
Welcome to the How It Started podcast. My name is Hiram.
My name is Adonis.
And today we have a real treat, Dave Burlin. Dave, welcome to the show. I want to start with you just sharing with the audience. You're a veteran. You help other veteran entrepreneurs grow and scale their business. You've been able to advise a lot of the top veteran-owned companies. Walk us through your journey to get there.
The very shortest version of this, and I get to tell this story often, Marine Corps, infantry. I went in pre 9/11, right? I happened to be on deployment when 9/11 happened. It was actually my 21st birthday on September 10th. I got out before everything got really crazy, right? So I got out in 2004. For me, I was ready to start a family. So I missed a lot of the deployments going over after. So I decided I got out. I was a drill instructor for at-risk youth for 7 years because I thought, you either go law enforcement or you do something like that.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
In 2010, right there around my 30th birthday, I went and got introduced to a company that was doing wedding DJ, wedding entertainment. And what was interesting, I walked in and I caught the bug. It was an amazing company culture. And I learned more about the business. And actually the book right there, Think and Grow Rich, the owner of the company said, "Hey, I'll pay you $100 to read this book." And I was like, "I'll take your $100."
Yeah.
No idea what that was going to spark inside.
What did it spark inside?
So for me, it helped me understand that the way that I had grown up, I grew up in a very small town in Oklahoma, but it's like the country's largest manufacturing industrial park.
So a lot of factories out
Everyone like I was told you need to go work at this factory until you die.
Yeah.
Like that's how I was
It's
raised.
a sick factory.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah, and I was like, no, man, I can't. That's not me. And I kind of grew up at-risk youth. We'll say I had my own business when I was prior to going to the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
What that really unlocked inside of me was that everything is possible.
Yeah.
Right. The thoughts are things. And like, to me, I think I had all these ideas. And like, when I realized that those ideas could actually become something real, I got addicted. And, I started reading all the books that they were reading. That was one of our core values as a company, was we read books to get better. That was a large company in Oklahoma. And as I kept reading books, I went to the owners and I said, "Hey, why don't we grow this?" So I actually ended up scaling that company into Dallas. I drove to Dallas for a year, built a whole team, just like a good Marine, right? It's like we built the team up, passed the torch, then I went to Kansas City. Once we did that, came back, kept reading books. One of the books that we read was Tony Hsieh's book about Zappos. That changed everything for us. The one thing that was missing there was company culture. Once we locked in core values and a solid mission statement, it just spread like wildfire. So now that's the largest privately held wedding entertainment company in the United States. Something about being front, like having a front row seat to building that, is what gave me not only the belief that I could help other people start and grow businesses, but because I was also a Marine Corps veteran, I felt a responsibility to wear that for veterans and say, "Hey, we're the answer." Along the way, it was in Kansas City. I was watching I was in between meetings, and I saw the very first TED Talk that I ever saw. And it was a woman, Sarah Kay. And when I saw that TED Talk, I didn't know what it was. I just knew like I had to do that. So I set, like, thoughts are things, right? I set the crazy, audacious goal that in 2023, in 10 years, I was going to do a TED Talk. And I just jacked into the universe. 14 months later, my first public talk ever was a TEDx talk. I talked about veteran transition. And this is just before veteran entrepreneurship really became a loud term.
Sure.
So that was 2014. 2015, 2016, it started happening. And then when I moved out here in 2018, one of the first organizations that I linked up with, we launched the chapter for Bunker Labs out here, which helps veterans start and grow businesses all across the United States. So been hooked on it ever since. Along the way, it's been...
I call it collecting infinity stones, right? You collect little things from books, from experiences, and then you put them together in your own unique way, and then you serve the world with it.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned two things, right? It's alignment with the team, right? That company culture, and then also having a mission, vision, core values. That's something that we help business owners with. Like, how important was it for you to really get those dialed in before you guys started scaling?
Yeah, well, I could tell you the challenges that we ran into, right? And the solution, why those fixed it. Actually, they fixed it in a point that I didn't need to work there anymore, and I left, and it was kind of a nice thing to walk away from.
A well-oiled machine running itself.
Yeah. So this is with the DJ business back in Tulsa, right? DJ Connection. Shout out to Jason Bailey.
Let's go, Jason.
So what happened is when I built the office and the team down in Dallas, I drove down there for a year, just listening to books, hiring people, training people, showing them the wedding industry, building strategic partnerships. When I left, I went to Kansas City, did the same thing. When I came back, I became the sales director. This is out of Tulsa. And what we noticed, keep in mind, we didn't ruin anyone's wedding. It just, the service was kind of going down a little bit, right? And we weren't getting overwhelming reviews. We weren't getting bad ones. It's just, it wasn't kind of what it was. And again, ego aside, it wasn't me. It's just, I kind of built it on my energy. And when I left, it was just kind of like a watered down version of Dave's energy. So
since you helped build it, you were able to make repairs on the machine because it's something that you've thought through. You know, someone else steps in, they're not as familiar with the system.
Exactly.
There's going to be some type of lag.
Yeah, another mentor of mine, he used to be the VP of operations at Disney. He said that no matter how much you pour into one of your cast members, they're only going to retain about 80%.
Yeah.
And it goes down every step of the rung, right? Yeah. So when I was listening to Tony Hsieh's book. Now, of all the books that I've listened to, there's something very much that connected me to that book, and it was about the core values. And it's fun fact, his original core values were peace, love, unity, respect, which is like rave culture.
Yeah.
And, I was low key like a rave kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, how does he apply that into business? And then when you hear the story of Zappos and the 10 core values, we hit a certain point where I just said, hey, I think core values are going to really make a difference here. The owner was like, that stuff doesn't move the needle. I said, what if we read this book together as a team and then see what you think? We read it. We went through the same sort of workshop that he did, and we came up with our 7 core values that then became the moral compass. And the turning point there, so if that's the compass and the direction, to your point, the mission, I'd been using this mission statement sort of tagline, and it's so cheesy, very cheesy, but it was changing the world one dance floor at a time. What I wrote it for is like, I wrote it from a recruiting standpoint. Like, if you guys were coming on the team, I wanted you to know that we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
So when I wrote it from that perspective, it worked. But what I didn't expect was brides to read that same mission statement, feel like my dance floor is a part of that. So it went viral on both sides. We literally grew 40% the next year.
Yeah, you created a culture.
It's a double entendre.
Yeah, and I always try to find that perfect storm where I can help, because I've helped people write. I was one of the first people that went through the Find Your Why Discovery course with Simon Sinek. They reached out to me. I actually reached out to them to see if I could quote Simon Sinek in my TED Talk. And they were like, what are you working on? And they said, we're trying to do this thing. Do you want to do this for veterans? So I was a facilitator for the Why Discovery course for that. Just, it's amazing all the fun opportunities that open.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I try to find that for other companies. Like, what is that magic formula? It's not just, what are the words? It's not just to, elicit a response from the words, but can you really get your team behind it?
Yeah.
And can you get your clients behind it too? That's the perfect storm.
100%. So it's Another big thing, right? As a founder, you have this big vision. You can't quite articulate exactly what you're trying to create to everyone, right? So it's so important. I learned this when I worked for Grant Cardone and Brandon Dawson.
Yeah.
Brandon Dawson always talked about aligning everyone on the team like to the mission by asking them about their personal, professional, and financial goals. You know what I'm saying? Because if you could accomplish that within the organization that you're in, you're at the right place.
Well, and that kind of goes to where I'm at now, right? As I've joined a team since then. And I don't generally join teams, right? I've been kind of a lone wolf.
And you've been creating teams.
Yeah, I've been a lone wolf off on my own. Sometimes when things really align in the right perspective, it makes sense. So, but yeah, that's for me. It's really about that mission and the vision, because if I don't align with that, I can't get excited about it.
That's
right.
it.
And I just want to get other people excited. I told another person, a really great client that I worked with in the industry, he's in the restaurant industry. And as I crossed over into that world, we worked on a project for like 2 years. He works with like 400 restaurants now. And one of the things that I realized in that industry, it's not just about getting a line of customers out the door to come eat your food. You should also have a line out the door of people that can't wait to work for you.
Yeah.
Can you create that in your culture?
100%. So when did you realize that veterans needed more than just motivation? They needed a platform.
That has been a conversation that has very much evolved since, I think, when I said I wanted to do a TED Talk, when I set that crazy intention, well, people are like, what are you going to talk about? And like, the only thing I really cared about at the time was veteran transition. What I learned is that there's all these different programs. And along this whole pursuit, especially when I found out about veteran entrepreneurship, I got really excited about that conversation, starting that conversation, leading that conversation, really having that conversation, not just with more people, but on bigger platforms and bigger stages. One of the things I started to see was very frustrating, is still very frustrating today. I don't know if you guys see this, but often veterans get looped into this bucket of helpless, homeless, suicidal, violent, and that's just not always the case. Is there some of that? Sure. But I feel like every day there's more and more programs that are starting up to try to service those, that kind of container of veterans.
Sure. And what I've found is that a lot of times when they have that disconnect, it's just a story that they're telling themselves that could be reframed like that differently. And then now they're able to get past that obstacle in their life and move on to doing bigger and better things. They work with a bunch of veteran business owners. They're doing great. Like, I'm sure it was a process and they experienced things that the normal society hasn't, but bro, they came back stronger. They came back with more experience. They came back with more resilience. A lot of great things come from being a veteran and going into business.
No, 100%. Well, to me, it all starts with mindset. And what I notice is like, okay, cool. If there's two sides of this conversation, how do we define that? Right. So one definition is, I call it post-traumatic stress and support. Like, that's one side of the conversation. The other side is post-traumatic growth. Right. And the hardest part when you talk about veterans having a platform is, where do we start that conversation? Because there's a lot of people out there that get really excited, or they hear one sob story, or they hear one thing and they're like, ooh, I have an idea, but they haven't really, it's like business. They haven't really talked to the market to see if that's something that we want or need. They just get really passionate about it and say, well, they need this. They need this.
Yeah, you got to test it.
And to me, it goes back to, I reference a lot of books. There's an old book I read a long time ago called Sales Dog. And it's like, fear or courage, whichever one you feed is going to get stronger.
For sure.
And it's like, it goes to that same idea with post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic growth. Like, even talking about it, I feel weird saying this, but like, if we just sat around and kept talking about all the veterans that we know who've committed suicide, like there's a chance that one of us is going to get bit by that bug.
Oh, for sure.
And we probably won't say anything here.
Yeah.
But then it might creep with us into the car. Yeah. And then it might sit with us a little bit longer. And sometimes
it'll go away and come back.
Then it'll go away and come back. But like, to me, I'm like, how do we really focus on making the other side of the conversation louder?
Yeah, man, this goes back to what you just said, like feeding them the right information.
Yeah.
Giving them an outlet or an opportunity to be in a room with people that think differently.
Yeah.
That don't have that thought because of this.
Yeah.
And now they can relate to that and move past it. Yeah. Awesome. So what question do you have for Dave?
So You're known for building communities.
Mm-hmm.
What was there a time that there wasn't a community there for you?
Yeah, I
What did that
mean,
look like?
I think it's been really cool to see more specifically the veteran entrepreneur community really come alive in the last, what is this, 2025? Really in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, it wasn't really a word. In fact, I did the TED Talk in 2014 and I didn't even talk about it because it wasn't really a conceptualized thing yet.
Yeah.
But it has been really powerful to see more of those communities stand up. For me, I go a lot more niche, right? Like to me, I walk in and as soon as I saw the books on the table, I'm excited to be here. I see the books in the back. I don't want to be around people that aren't reading books,
That aren't getting better.
Sure.
that aren't getting better. Like, yeah, like you can watch a bunch of Netflix TV shows, cool, but like I'm reading 4 books at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's where, to your point, like where didn't that exist? Like, are there libraries out there? Sure. But one thing that I had the honor of doing was we helped launch a post-traumatic growth library down in Houston, Texas with one of the veteran programs down there. But a cool community that we really built out here, we launched a veteran entrepreneur library out here in North Las Vegas. This year for Freedom Week, we opened our second one. So now I want to really create a culture and a community around not just veteran business owners, but veteran business owners that are growth-minded, that can really accelerate some of the conversations around it.
Yeah. The ones that don't buy into the BS. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The people that still have a lot to do.
Yep.
So, Dave, what's something that you believe early on that turned out to be total BS?
Man, something that I believed early, the total BS. So I would say the idea that someone's going to bring you on their team and just wrap you up and take care of you forever.
Yeah. And how did he realize that?
So again, I grew up in a very small town in Oklahoma where everybody went to work at the same 15 factories across the Mid-America Industrial Park. And I literally watched people die there. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not funny. It's what's funny was that's what I was told that I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was, that
Well,
was going to be it.
So would you say that Think and Grow Rich snapped you out of that? Or was it just the different people that you were around, the conversations that you were exposed to, and the reverse?
Yeah, I think, well, definitely one of the big catalysts was the book. You know, there's all those little memes like, if you could give yourself advice when you were 16 years old, what would you say? Like, read more books.
For sure.
Like, I didn't even read that book until I was 30.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the first books that I read. So that's where it really started to open up the ideas and the opportunities. Now, out of the 400 books that I've read, like out of the top 15 of those, like I've met those people and they're my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I saw your Hermosi book. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't make it, but I
Alex,
made it. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a little testimonial to Alex Hermosi.
Yeah.
He's changed my life.
Yeah.
You know, like just thinking through the different processes, the different stages that you go through in such like detail, and then taking out all the fluff, bro. I could really appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Well, even like that, like a good friend of mine works for them, but I applied to be their sales manager last year. I made it through 4 rounds, and that's like, there was like 12 people that were cut on the first round.
Yeah.
And like, just to make it through to the second and third
Yeah.
round, I was like, I felt pretty cool, but it wasn't like, I had to learn a lot to get there. But like, then I look at those books and I'm like, they're real people. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
So,
we can work with these people.
You know who Ed Milet is?
Mhm.
So I was listening to one of his podcasts. He says that the quality of your life is a reflection of the quality or the standard that you set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Alex Hermosi expects the best.
Yeah.
He's going to grade you different. It's
Yeah.
not for the people that are just starting out. They just won't
Yeah.
make it because the critique will be so detailed.
Yeah.
You know?
Vet Talks started off as events.
Yeah.
When did you know that it was going to be something bigger?
Vet Talks is really something that out of all of the things that I've done, not just for myself, but for other people, it was this combination of everything. So I did the TED Talk. When I saw the first TED Talk, there's something inside of me that changed forever. And I was like, I'm supposed to do that. And I did it. Fun fact. It was like kind of before it was cool. Like 2014 is a long time ago. And I didn't expect everyone to like carry me out of there on their shoulders, but like it has opened some cool opportunities. But nowadays it's like anybody can kind of throw one. There's two parts to it because I also did another formatted talk just before I left Oklahoma in 2018. It's called Disrupt HR. Have you guys ever heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
So think of TEDx, but just for the world of HR professionals.
Got it.
What's cool about it is it's a 5-minute format, something I'd never seen before. But it's 5 minutes. You have to give them 20 slides, and those slides rotate every 15 seconds.
Right, that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool thing to do, though.
It's cool, but it's really hard.
Yeah, it's like writing a song.
Yeah,
you have to like have visual aids for each part of it and flow into it.
It's not.
Sounds cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, think of this. It's not a presentation. It's a performance. Because you really have like no clicker, by the way.
Yeah.
When I did that one, that really kind of set the next stage for what I had the idea for, but it took me a couple years to pull off because that was 2018. Around 2022, I really started getting this idea of like, ooh, what if we did like TED Talks for the military community?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, fear gets really loud, right? And then sometimes it's like, I'll be working on this, and sometimes I work on these big projects and I go do these other things. Some of it I happen to learn, some of it I go with the intention of learning, but honestly, sometimes it's creative avoidance to avoid the things that I feel like I'm supposed to do, right? I'm not immune to that. So like what that is it's fear. I'm like, oh, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. Well, I looked at doing it last year, and then this year for Freedom Week, I wanted to take Freedom Week to a whole nother level. It's a week of events just dedicated to veteran entrepreneurship.
It's out here in Vegas?
Here in Vegas.
And where's it going to be at?
So it's here in Vegas. It was in Reno this year too. And they opened the second Veteran Entrepreneur Library. And the idea was that if we have just that week to celebrate, it's actually going to kickstart the conversation for GEW Global Entrepreneurship Week later in the year. A lot of communities really got inspired by what we did. So now there's people in Atlanta that want to do it. Some people in Philly, Tulsa, which is where I'm from, Texas, the kind of North Texas, Dallas area, and Denver. Now, those are people that have kind of verbally mentioned that they want to be involved. Philly definitely wants to have something. But then I was like, okay, cool. Well, what is every veteran entrepreneur week? What does every Freedom Week need to have? To me, it's got to have a new library that opens. It's got to have a Vet Talks. So those are kind of the two pillars of what I want to have happen. So Vet Talks, we did the first one first one ever. It's fun because I'm going to serialize the talks, and everybody will get like a patch, like I'm Vet Talks 001.
Oh, that's dope.
I knew it wanted to have a format. The interesting thing was I didn't want to do 11 to 18 minutes, which is a TED Talk format, because that's, no offense, it's too long. 5 is too hard.
Yeah.
So what I did was we did a hybrid of the two. So instead of 11 to 18 minutes, or instead of 5 minutes, 20 slides, 8 minutes, 8 slides, 1 call to action.
Oh.
Right. So you have to bring it. So that night we had myself and 6 other brave souls that stepped up to the plate. Just like a TED Talk experience, we helped curate their talks. We helped them kind of polish their talks and understand the format. I felt like a director, right? Because at the same time, we also were shooting.
You are a director.
We were shooting kind of the elements of a little documentary to talk about what happened during the week. But it was amazing to just kind of sit in the back and watch these people jump up and deliver their talks. So the idea now is that I'm following all the legal suit of everything. I'm looking at Disrupt HR, their model, just like TEDx. It's a licensing model. It's a nonprofit. It's an event community model.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at duplicating that, essentially that same thing, but then take it into those communities and then spread it. And if I paint that vision right now, it's 5 more Vet Talks, 5 more Veteran Entrepreneur Libraries next year, and it's 15 or 20.
Yeah.
2027.
You grow by 3.
Yeah.
The rule of 3.
Yeah.
I learned from Brandon Dawson also.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I want you to share with the audience like how they could be a part of the Vet Talks and just give them the information if they're a business owner, if they have experience or no experience, just give us a breakdown.
Now, to be fully transparent, Vet Talk or the Freedom Week and Vet Talks, all that stuff is kind of underneath Global Entrepreneurship Week, which is in November. So I want to formalize that as well.
Perfect.
Right now, it's really just the initiative here. So connecting with me directly is really the best method for that. So LinkedIn is where kind of everybody, that's where you found me.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is really the best method for that. I'm working on all the legalities of like getting the actual, because now when we were just in Nevada, it's one thing, but now if we're looking at going to other, we have to kind of change the structure. But Dave at davemeansbusiness.com is the best way to find me.
Perfect.
And then LinkedIn, so Dave Burlin. I'm not the only Dave Burlin in the United States, so it's easier to find me sometimes than it is to find you. But yeah, that if you're interested, if you have primarily anything in the veteran entrepreneur space in your community, I would love to connect the dots. Yeah.
Veteran entrepreneur space, is that like if you're a veteran, you own a business, or is it servicing other military members?
What happens a lot, and when I always throw in that caveat of veteran entrepreneurs, because a lot of times it happened just the other day. I'll get looped in on conversations sometimes that, hey, we really need your help. You need to be on this. And I'll jump on a Zoom call for 90 minutes. And it's all about a mental health veteran thing of something that I don't want to say I can't help. It's just like, I can't really help like somebody that's starting a tiny homes village in Bumsville, Idaho, even though at some point one of those people that make it through that program might want to start and grow a business.
Yeah.
Like I'm really trying to accelerate the communities that already have a veteran entrepreneur initiative or program or something that's going on because of the reach that I have across Vets in Tech, Warrior Rising, and some of the other veteran programs that are out there. We can help accelerate those things. And then I kind of ride those coattails in some places. In some places I'm launching, and some people I just ride the coattails in and say, hey, what if we did a Vet Talks? Or hey, what if you guys celebrated Freedom Week?
So you have the events, you also have access to all these different resources. Who's your ideal vet? And like what type of business do they own? Is it like for us specifically, we help $1 to $8 million service-based business owners.
Sure.
And then we help them duplicate themselves into video assets, right?
Love it.
So who's your ideal client avatar, like revenue wise, just because I want to get you as many like qualified leads as possible so we could spread the initiative also.
If we've got 4 minutes, I'll dovetail the perfect little training segment on that, because this is what I help people do as well. When I saw your stuff, I was like, ooh, this is going to be a fun conversation. So I look at the evolution of an entrepreneur like this. You have the idea hobbyist, you have the contractor, you have the solopreneur, the entrepreneur, the CEO, business owner, and visionary. Now, people call these things different things. A lot of people go get the LLC and they'll get cards made and say CEO.
Right.
And I also understand the revenue side of it. But sometimes there can be there's solopreneurs out there that are making that kind of money. I go off of this model because I have different resources that I can connect people with at different sites. Hobbyists, I don't even really mess with it.
Yeah.
But contractors, right? If they have a basic LLC set up, contractors are great. They probably have basic invoice system. The difference between a contractor and a solopreneur, to me, in this model, is a solopreneur is smart enough to hire contractors to do some of that. Can we cuss? To do some of the shit that you don't want to do.
For sure.
The only difference from a solopreneur to a entrepreneur is they've made the first critical hire. And I mean like a partner or like a real W-2, not a contractor. Yeah, they're putting a real money or a real dollar behind a real employee. A CEO, pretty easy. They've made 4 or 5 of those critical hires, probably that have their own budget to hire their own department, and they're still in it though. And then a business owner is that's the only one that's a little fuzzy because they're in the business as much as they want to, not as much as they have to be. Yeah. And a visionary is somebody brilliant enough that can see this across multiple industries and go do this over and over and over again. The reason why I look at those distinct levels is because 2 reasons. Every single one of those levels looks at the way they spend $1,000 very differently.
Yeah.
And every one of those has a definitive way that they can like level up to the next level.
Yeah.
For each one of those, I have different resources. For me, especially now in the role that I'm in, I've learned that I work best with CEOs, business owners, and visionaries.
Yeah.
Why? Because for those people, they are used to putting the responsibility on somebody to say, hey, I don't believe that you can do this.
Yeah.
I do, but I'm also paying you to go do this.
Yeah.
Not, I don't think you can do that. I don't think we should do this. And they're not like pinching everything. So for me, it's any of those that have made those first critical hires and they're really looking to scale. You guys could probably speak to that, just coming from military organizations you've worked with. Like, let me come in and Marine Corps the shit out of your business. You'll look at it differently forever, and everybody that comes on board will do it with a little bit more pride and ambition.
Yeah,
those are the people that I love to work with. Because they generally have the budgets to do it. But again, budgets, anyone can come up with the money to get something done.
Sure.
But what I've learned time and time again is the people that haven't actually hired people, I don't work as well with them because they just won't let it go.
Yeah, they're holding on to everything. They're micromanaging everything. Then they're done that. I have gone through those different phases. So I want to ask you this. So you've consulted different businesses, veteran-owned businesses. What do you feel like the biggest gap is in their business? Is it alignment? Is it not having the right assets? Is it not being able to duplicate their proficiencies onto other people? What's the biggest one that you help solve for?
Yeah, well, so internally and externally. Externally, I feel like a lot of times people don't fully understand their ideal client. Like they don't really like.
How important is that?
It's so important. I mean, what's the fun way to explain that? It's like if I gave you, okay, I'm in the product world now, right? As I jumped on as the sales director over at a live print shop, it's funny because I had this conversation with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, well, we're just trying to get our name out there. And I'm like, cool. Like, so you could buy 1,000 t-shirts, but if I bought 1,000 Lamborghini t-shirts for a Lamborghini dealership, and if I just got my name out there, if I went and gave them to 1,000 homeless people, what would that do to that brand? Like, it's not just, it's not just a matter of
changes the whole mission.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just getting your name out there. It's like getting your name in front of the people that actually have the capacity to like work with you. There's I think it's in Hermosi's book, or it's in one of them. I think it was $100 million offers. And I think they were talking about somebody who is like the best resume writer, but his business crashed. And it's like, because his client was people that couldn't find jobs to pay him.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you got a starving, he talks about a starving market. $100 million leads, right?
$100 million, leads or offers. I can't remember which one it was, but starving market is everything. So like, it's a matter of getting it in front of the right people. So to me, I go off of the book, Ultimate Sales Machine. That's one of my favorites. The Dream 100. If you could only make like 100 phone calls to 100 companies that you could ever work with, there's no opportunity for anyone to ever get referred to you, no word of mouth, no nothing. If you could only reach out to these 100 organizations or people, who are they? And you get 8 shots on each one of them. And then it's like, what are you going to do in that first introduction? Are you going to send them an email, or are you going to send them an invitation?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, there's a difference. Just because you've touched them doesn't mean anything. And if you give them a $4 t-shirt that has your name printed a little crooked, like, does that mean that they feel like known and heard? Not if they're driving a Lamborghini, right?
Sure.
So it's just little things like that. So I think to me, like, really knowing and understanding who your client is the most important.
So let me ask you this, something as simple as who your client is. You've worked with a bunch of businesses. How hard is it for them to define it?
It can be really hard.
Really hard.
Yeah. Here's a fun way that I do it, especially being here in Las Vegas. I ask people, if you had a 2,500 square foot store for your business, which hotel would you put it in? That immediately, because then I'm like, well, they've already done the marketing for you. Isn't it funny how some hotels have a Pete's Coffee? Some hotels have a Dunkin' Donuts.
Starbucks.
Some have a Starbucks. Yep. But you know where I have coffee every morning? At the one at the Wynn, and it doesn't even have a name.
Oh yeah, they have the little cafe.
Yeah, the Tower Suites.
I recommend it.
Tower Suites. Yes. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, like, I can go get a $2 double shot of espresso at Starbucks or whatever,
No.
but I'll keep paying $10 for my double shot of espresso in the Tower Suites bar because the opportunity for me to sit next to somebody who's traveling from out of town, who's there to grow their business, is a lot more likely than somebody I might run into at Dunkin' Donut.
It pays dividends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just show up at the right place. It goes back to knowing your audience, right? Your ideal client avatar. Where do they hang out? If they hang out at the Win because they have a business, boom, that's where you should get your coffee from, regardless of how much it costs.
Well, I've seen I've consulted health and wellness coaches, and I'm like, they'll sit there and ask me all these questions about their business, and I'll go, yeah, I've got one question for you. Where do you buy your groceries? And if they say like Trader Joe's, or if they say like Trader Joe's is fine, but like if they say Walmart or Smith's, even no offense, Smith's, but like the likelihood of somebody being able to buy their services probably doesn't shop there.
Yeah. I shop at Smith's.
Yeah, this is the opposite.
You know what I mean? Most of the time on Tuesdays, I go to Walmart, bro. They have a crazy rollback offer.
But it's just one of those things where if you're shopping at Whole Foods, and you're sitting there and somebody looks a little confused, and you're like, what are you looking at? And then that little conversation is just be like, I don't know, I'm just getting started. I just know I just started shopping here.
Hey, they make a little bit more. They're a little bit more conscious about the things that they put in their body. They started down the organic rabbit hole and they've gone all the way down it. No gluten, no nothing, bro. Yeah. But yeah, it's just knowing exactly who you're talking to. So that's a great point. Tell me about a mission that you started, almost failed, but figured out how to get through it.
So I think probably the biggest mission that I had that I lost, I'll say I lost my way and came back to many times, really would have to be Vet Talks and the initiatives that I've done for the military community. I'll be really honest. I learned, especially in stepping into this new role that I'm in now, that I was trying to change the world more than I was actually succeeding as an entrepreneur. Every time I don't know if, and I've been processing through this, some of it's guilt, some of it's shame. I don't know. It's a lot, but I would lose my way because I'd be like, oh, and I don't know if that's like comes from the service side of what we've done. I know other people. Yeah.
Yeah. You give all of you. And so every time you go on a plane, they tell you to put the oxygen mask on first. The oxygen is you being successful as an entrepreneur. Like, is this part of changing the world? You need the resources, and through that journey is like where you find that fulfillment.
Well, I think I was just stubborn, right? And it's like at the same time, like I paved I never really colored inside the lines much. I would always test them a little bit, even in the military, right? And not all of us like follow the exact rules, right? Some of us are a little edgy, especially Marines. I don't know if you really.
He's still edgy.
Yeah, but
edgy right now.
But for that, like I think I always needed to figure out on my own. And I learned that hard lesson, but I didn't, like, as much as I would get really close to something, like there's been so many coulda, woulda, shouldas, right? Each year that we did a bigger initiative for Global Entrepreneurship Week, there was something that went wrong and it could have been resolved if I just had $5,000. Or 10 grand. And I felt like there was this whole thing where I was like, I could only, like, the only way that this is ever going to matter if I do it with like $2,000 in my pocket. Some of that, I don't know. Some of that was fear. Some of that was ego. But now I realize a lot of that was guilt and shame. Well, so I never met my dad. My mom died at a factory. You know what I mean? Like that. She worked there until she died. So it's like, there was something that I maybe felt like I couldn't get past. So with that,
do you feel like what was missing was like an example of success?
So I would say yes, but when I show you the Rolodex of people that have literally like physically held my hand and told me like, hey, you can't do it this way. Like, you'd probably get pissed at me. I get pissed at me sometimes because these aren't just like my friends with an opinion or even my friends with the BMW. These are like the authors of some of the books on your shelf that have sat down with me and said, hey, bro, you probably should do this different. And I'm like, nah. So I think that's one area where I feel like I lost it. But to be really candid, when it all came full circle earlier this year in July and I saw it come to life,
Vet Talks.
That's when I realized that this can't be held back because of my ego or because of my bank account. So now it's like I've literally started stacking cash, making phone calls. I've got some great people that are behind the initiative to start raising some money, start bringing in the right partners. As I mentioned, my coach, Dave Meltzer, I'm on a call with him every Monday asking the bigger, harder questions now.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming back with my checkbook to say, okay, I think we should do this. I think we should do that. So I would say the mission has always been the same. It was my mindset and my ego that was in the way of it. But once I saw it really happen, I sat there that night and I just looked back and I'm like, all right, I've talked about it. Like there was 80 people that paid tickets to be there. And I'm like, this has to keep going. It can't be held back because of my shortcomings. So now it's just,
now you have a duty. Success is your duty and your obligation.
Yep. 100%.
So what's the hardest conversation you've had with yourself in the last 12 months about business?
Ooh. The hardest conversation I've had with myself in the last 12 months has been that it's okay to work for someone else and learn all over again.
Yeah.
When I took the role where I'm at with a live print shop, it's funny how it started. I bought my t-shirts there, or I got my t-shirts for Freedom Week printed there. And through a whole nother context, I got circled back and reintroduced to the owner of the company because he had went through a couple of different, not really challenges in his business, but like in that stuck point where all of his mentors were saying, he thought, oh, I need to do this. What do you think? I think I need to do this. And 4 different people told him, no, you just need a sales director. So when he put that out to his network and then somebody circled back to me, I had been going through a lot. I've been going through a lot of therapy, psychedelics, timeline therapy, all kinds of stuff over the last year and a half. Very important reason for that, for me to really make sure, also sober. I haven't drank alcohol in almost 2 years. So really going on this like peak performance level of who am I and what am I really capable of? And sometimes to understand what that is, you have to look back. So I talked to the guy that I helped grow the DJ business. I've talked to a lot of mentors and friends that I've had. One of my coaches said, when were you the happiest and when did you make the most money? And I realized it was when I was driving all over Dallas, Kansas City, Denver, Indianapolis, building the DJ business. And it was because I was driving and I was listening to books and I got to go put those books into action.
Yeah.
That's when I made the most money and that's when I had the most fun.
Yeah.
So when this opportunity came back up, I had to look at everything because I'm like, well, right now, yes, Vet Talks needs to grow and breathe. Yes, Global Entrepreneurship Week is something I volunteer and will continue to do. But I had to put the oxygen mask on first. And what I can tell you is in the 2 months that I've been there, I have literally almost written a book in my head of all of the lessons that I've learned and how each one of those has come full circle. And now with my mask on, I get to continue what I'm doing there and really flex and understand, like, what am I capable of? Like how, when he came to me, he said, hey, I'm really looking for somebody that can be on board for like 5 years and we need to go from here to here. And I'm like, from here to here, that's like, we could do that in 18 months.
Sure.
And he's like, really? And then like, as I brought in more support and more resources, he's like, I really think we can do this in 18 months. But for me, I'm just like, if this is what I can do, like I got 5 more of these in me.
Yeah.
Past this to keep doing it.
Just like you said, you were reading books, you got to apply the things that you learned. So you just need an outlet. Like if you have all this knowledge and know where to apply it, that's what really like burdens you.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was going around doing it for myself and barely paying myself, I couldn't pay anybody else. Like at least I couldn't see that far ahead. What's great now is like, and I love this team that I'm working with. I say kids, they're some of them are a little bit younger. Hermosi runs a really young team too. Yeah. Like when I went, the last one there, like his sales director is like 23 or something.
Cardo Ventures too, bro. They're sharp.
Yeah. And so this is a great team, but I'm like I'm really excited to get to pour everything that I've done over the last 15 years into these 4 people, but also like probably like 12 more people that come on as we scale this thing.
Hey, you're duplicating your roles right now.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, here I am, I'm 45, and like I feel like I'm just now getting my second wind, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be able to do this 5 or 6 more times, but I get to have fun doing it. Like I've always done services. I've like you guys, like I work a lot with service-based people, but this one is product based. We do swag, we do prep materials, all that. So when he asked me, he was like, why would you do this? And I was like, honestly, I'm just curious at this point. But curiosity is what keeps me driving further, listening to more books.
Yeah. The spice of life.
Yeah. I have a 28-minute car ride, which it's weird. Like I feel like everything.
You look forward to it.
Everything in Vegas is like exactly 23 minutes away.
Yeah.
But like
I've
28
never been anywhere
minutes,
24 minutes away.
Yeah, 28 minutes, like it's just enough that I can get kind of jacked into a new book. I got a gym up north now. We're just right down the street from you guys.
I like it. We'll have to go check it out.
Yeah.
That's cool. I am going to ask you this last question, but just share with the audience where they could follow you, where they could be part of the movement, and then we're going to finish off strong.
Absolutely. You can find me on all things davemeansbusiness.com. It's really just a link tree because there's a handful of different things to go there, but that's the fastest way to connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, or you can just call me at speed dial 4.
All right. So we're going to end with this. So if there's veteran entrepreneurs out there, they need resources, like what advice would you give them? The same thing that you said earlier, like what advice you would give yourself is read more. Like what would that advice look like to an entrepreneur that is a veteran?
Yeah, I would say believe in yourself and understand that you have the resources to be successful in business, because we were all part of the largest organization and most effective organization on the planet, the United States military.
Example of success.
That's what we're capable of. We can apply that same mindset, that same skill set, that same system to anything.
Yeah.
All we did was solve problems. That's all that business is it's really just asking more questions, solving more problems, and having the attitude to not give up. And just make those choices. So you have it. We all have it. And more importantly than that, we have a network that is unbelievable. Like
incredible.
Everywhere you go, there's a veteran, and now more often there's more veteran entrepreneurs. There's more veteran entrepreneur resources out there, and it's only getting stronger. After the vet talks, as I watched everything I put together, and this is what I believe, and this is what I'm fighting for, is I believe that everything that we've accomplished as a military community in the last 15 years has all the successes, all of the suicides, everything. That has been our season of transition.
Yeah.
And I want to take that word out of our vocabulary. We are now in a season of transformation and expansion. For that, it's going to be led by people just like us and people like you who are really believe that there's more out there. So to that, let's go. I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Burlin, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I've had a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Sound like fun.
All right, Double Dog. Kill.